Cool.
Hello.
So, hello. We are live. So, welcome everyone. Today we are thrilled to have Guillaume Pau with us. He's the visionary founder and CEO of Live Me Up. His innovative platform has quickly risen to become the #1 app on the Shopify store, transforming the landscape of live commerce. Very excited about this conversation. Also, a special shout to AirMeet, which makes all our online events possible. So, Guillaume, welcome. I always start with the big picture. I think you have a very interesting career. So before we dive into retail, I saw that you were a Marine, right? We spoke about. I sent you a few questions yesterday. I was doing a little bit of digging in your career. So let's start from the very beginning. What's your journey until where we are today?
And we are at a very good place today because thanks Carlos for hosting me. I mean, we met months ago through LinkedIn, and we had the chance to chat to each other. And I love the way you introduced the Evolve Commerce Club. I think it's very smart and very wise today to build communities like that. So I can't say more than thank you for that and the opportunity of being with you today. It's a chance, and I'm really grateful to you. So well, the story, the journey, I mean, it's long because I'm not a freshman. And well, because you mentioned the Marine, I mean, when I was a young boy again at that time, then I had the chance to be a submariner for a year and a half on the French Navy, and that was just that was actually the beginning of my adult life, post study and so on, and it was an incredible human experience, and which gave me the taste and the strength of being myself and of pursuing my dreams and building around my vision today. And 35 years later, I'm here driving the development of Live Me Up, which you say a lot of good words for that, but also being a father of 4 young adults now, all being born around China or in China during the time that we spent in Shanghai, in Nanjing, and in Taipei. And it was an incredible family journey. It was a journey made of discovery, curiosity, challenge, doubt, and so on, and where we learn a lot. So long story short, I'm an entrepreneur today, driving a team of 11, accompanying clients all over the world in a very crazy mission, bringing video to merchants and bringing shoppable video to merchants. But probably we'll have the chance to dive into that topic a bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I love your mission. Just a personal story. I did a post on LinkedIn. I think I tagged you. It's about my dad, because my dad is a retailer. I mean, he became very strong in retail. Even back in the 90s, we had in Brazil like this show where you like a journalist reporter would start filming you, and you as the retailer would have 30 seconds or a minute depending on how much you pay them, and you had to sell, but there was no internet. So that's how my father started, and I have always been pushing him to do that on Instagram, because he has a very strong Instagram base. And last week, besides doing a couple of thousand of bucks, like when he went live on Insta and sold and saw the power, because he was a bit hesitant, going live. It's also a channel for conversations, for community in a way, right? Yeah. So I love your mission. But before we speak about that, I'd love to talk also about your journey in retail, because it's a very interesting journey. I think you worked for Auchan, which is
that's right.
Right. Which is a renowned grocer, or I mean, they sell everything pretty much, right? I got to see them in Romania while I was doing business development there. They're pretty big in Romania. So tell us a little bit about this journey until you start working on Live Me Up, and how you came up with the idea.
When I graduated and finished my service at the French Navy, then I was very attracted into commerce, because this is a long family origin from my father and grandfather in Bordeaux, and so actually I had the taste for this industry. So I started as a young section manager at Auchan in a hypermarket very near Paris. I spent a couple of years there, and then I became a buyer, and then happened the opportunity to fly over to Shanghai and start the business in 2001 in China. And it was a crazy challenge, and I was part of the very first team. And so we built the whole business in that country. We opened stores everywhere, and it was a time when in China, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, it's still amazing, but different way. But in 2001, like 25 years ago, China was amazing of energy, of investment, of willingness to learn. And that was just magic, to develop business, any kind of business, by the way. And so we had the chance to be on like we call that the 15 glorious years in China for retail, where the foreign retail chain were very much avant-garde and early stage on the innovation and the way we bring the product to the clients. But then, so we spent 15 years there, and it was magic, to travel all around China, to hire people, to train people, to become part of the Chinese story of this company. And then in 2015, I mean, the Chinese, they learn super quickly, and then and at a certain point they became better than the foreigner because they are in their own country with their own culture, own language, and they understand probably way better than you their customer needs. And so 2015, the local chains started really to grab market share, and then digital became a very strong thing. And what we took like 20 years to adopt in terms of digital journey in China, it took them 5 years to adopt that. And in 2017, it was done. I mean, the whole business went on a smartphone, and so the old traditional grocery chain were really into heavy pressure to make innovation and so on. And so we were wise, and we decided to sell the company to our Chinese, GV.
That explains why
which was Alibaba at the time. And so Alibaba became the owner of Auchan. And I mean, that move was very smart because we did in like almost 17 years what we were able to do, given the country, given the size of the country, given the complexity of the country, and given our ability to drive innovation in that country. And so Alibaba took over the helm, and then is still running the business right now. But in 2017, I also had the chance to work with them. That was amazing, to work with Alibaba people. At that time, they were the most innovative company in China. And so that's a time when they bring video on a smartphone. And when I saw that in 2017, I was like shocked, Carlos. It was like, wow, what's happening there? You can purchase through a video on a smartphone. Give me your smartphone. Show me that. I want to know. I want to learn. And then started the story of Live Me Up.
So just so I get this right, you had a period where you were just visiting China and building the business there, and then you started living there. When did you start living in China?
No. I started living there in 2001.
Wow! So you've been there. You lived there for a long time.
Almost 20 years. Almost 20.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And your children, they speak Chinese. They speak Mandarin.
Yeah. They speak Mandarin and English. They were raised at the British school, and they speak Chinese pretty well. We speak French at home, and so we raise our kids in like 3 different culture and languages. And
I understand that I'm Brazilian and Denmark, have 2 girls, and I just speak Portuguese with the girls. But I get that. Amazing. So before we speak about Live Me Up, and I'd love if you could talk a little bit about the Chinese way. And I'm a big admirer of them, because I think here in Denmark, where we are based, the media, sometimes they portray how China does business in not such a positive light. But I also think that when the market opened in the 90s and everybody went to China, like people were looking to decrease costs. And I think, as you said, they were very smart. They opened the doors and said, okay, you're welcome to, let's do business. But they learned and they improved a lot, and they have a mentality. I have a lot of friends who've been there. I never been there. That talk about how they see. I mean, first off, the government backs a lot of companies, right? So you have a partner which you can compete, which is the government typically, but they think about ecosystems, and I love how they think.
Yeah.
Like everything is about community ecosystem. So a flywheel, right? Like what you see in Amazon, they have Alibaba, they have so many ecosystems which you can't beat. So I love if you could talk about that.
Yeah, it's true that today China, and I'm fighting against that. By the way, China is often portrayed as an evil or as a black sheep and not playing the role of the international commerce. I mean, I've met countless entrepreneurs, which was absolutely remarkable people, driven by two things, driven by improving their standard of living, which is a thing that we forgot today in Europe. And so being an energy to transform their country, clean their country, improve the status of their worker is a major driver that we never see from France or from probably Denmark. But that's the core mindset of entrepreneur. This is one thing. The second thing is that entrepreneurs in China, they are willing to take risk in no way we would like to take here in Europe. We are too much in a safe zone, in a comfort zone. But in China, taking risk, it's something that we would never, ever do. It's unbelievable. You can risk everything overnight, And based on that, they have a survival energy that also we forgot here, because they are fighting in a very competitive market in between them, not only on the international stage. And so only the fittest survive, only the fastest survive, So they have to be fit, they have to be smart, agile, very fast. So those are the two components that I've met honestly with hundreds of entrepreneurs. And on top of that, when you are a child growing up in China, you learn what's the meaning of guanxi, and you learn what's the meaning of the network around you. This is what you mentioned before. You name that ecosystem. The Chinese culture, they name that guanxi, and this is the way you relate to others and the way you build your first circle, second circle, and third circle around you. And everything is built, and your strength is coming from the people that you have in your first circle, which is, by the way, not only your family. It can be part of your family, but it can be you, it can be me, it can be people that you have interest, or we have deep connections. And this opens countless doors and help Chinese entrepreneur, to knock on the door and say, hey, can you help me? And I will help you later. Okay, deal. And so out of those three components, that makes today the industry in China, which is, by the way, very resilient, very strong, very competitive, which all over the years improved their standard by something that we can't see really today. But just take a flight to Guangzhou or Shanghai or Shenzhen, visit factory, and you will discover what's a clean factory today. And they've done that in 10 years, so it's absolutely remarkable.
That's fantastic. I mean, we can talk more about that offline. I have to go to China. That's something I promised myself. I need to do this for sure. So and how so you were working with Alibaba. You saw the speed, you saw them going live, and at what point you decided to go back to France and say, okay, maybe I should start this business, go start a live commerce business. I think you told me you have investors, right? In New York, if I recall that correctly.
Yeah, sure.
So you're all the time in New York. You're also all the time in the UK. But how did that happen, Guillaume? The decision of moving back to Europe. What was that like?
Yeah, 2017, when I saw that girl from my team in Guangzhou, attending a live shopping session on her smartphone, having fun and laughing during the lunchtime. And I said, hey, what are you, what's that? I mean, show me. And then it was amazing. And I came back to France, and in just between COVID-1 and COVID-2, like 2020, we've launched with Auchan the first live shopping session with Alibaba in partnership, and we did that on the AliExpress platform with my product from Auchan. And then when I saw the setup in a warehouse, with two influencers hosting a live stream event for 4 hours and entertaining 15,000 people in 4 hours on the platform, I said, oh my God, what's happening there? And it was a shock, And then reverse of the story is that after that, I had a long conversation with Alibaba about the data that were generated during that live shopping, and I had a lot of problem to get back my data, understand what happened, and I understood that I was a kind of prisoner of the platform, and that even though I was Auchan, a very big name, I was not able to control my things on this platform, and that's it. And so my vision was instantly to bring that technology out of those mega platforms and build a standalone technology of live shopping, which would then help mid-sized businesses, to host that kind of live shopping sessions, but controlling the whole story. And that's what we do today. So actually, it's from a very big pain post first test and tries and learns that I've decided to build my own technology, because I felt really uncomfortable being prisoner of that kind of mega platform environment where I don't know who are my customer, I can't manage my customer database. Part of my margin is eaten by marketing budget and by the commission of the platform. And I mean, for me, the business model was not the right one. And I've decided to rebuild that business model at the profit of small and medium businesses, small and medium merchants.
So then, that's what year are we talking about? 2018, 2019? Because
2019, exactly, yeah.
Right. So then you decide to you have a chat with your family and say, guys, we're going back to Lille.
No, I had a chat with my boss. Right. I'm leaving.
Okay.
And that was not expected. And so because I spent 25 years in the company actually, and I was smooth, and I was not in a rush to leave the company. Then I informed my boss that I had a project, and I was leaving sooner or later, and then I left the company 9 months later, giving everyone ample time to build the transition and not to hurt the team. And then I had a very nice exit of Auchan. They helped me to start the business, because they have, when you are an entrepreneur in France, you have the chance that when you leave a company to build your own business, you have many helps, from the government, from the place you live, and from your former employer. And so I leverage all those helps. Then I went to see my friends and families and say, hey, mate, I need some cash to start a business. It's going to be a massive business, but I need money to build the tech. And so we financed the first round of equity like that with friends and family, what we call friends and family money, actually.
Okay, cool. So that was 2019, and then the whole world, I won't say collapse, the kind of like things, it hits the fan, and then we hit the pandemic, and when you start Live Me Up, and let's go about that journey. What was that like?
It was, the day one was a jump from the cliff. I went to see Alexandre, which is my co-founder, and he is a friend from my business school. So we knew each other for more like 30 years. He is a king in live streaming, but not for e-commerce, for sports live streaming. And then I went to see him and say, hey Alex, we need to join forces together. I'm a king of commerce, you're a king of live streaming. Let's make together live streaming commerce. And that's how the story started. And we spent like 2 months to iterate over the phone like that, some ideas, some concept, and so on. We went on finding a CTO that by chance we met very quickly in the journey. His name is Anthony. He's a very senior profile, having worked in many SaaS businesses before in Europe. And so 3 of us, winter 21, we started the company and started to write the first line of code. And then we started like that. I mean, as simple as that. But in a way, I don't know why, sometimes I reflect on that and I say, sometimes in your life, you have the stars, they are well aligned, and everything seems smooth. I mean, my co-founder, my CTO, we start the company, we build the tech, we have a first client, and the story goes on. And I don't know why it happens like that. But we were lucky, and we made the most of that, actually.
Amazing. So it's the two of you, then you guys find the CTO, and COVID is happening. How, I'm interested in understanding, how did you guys start like promoting the company and finding the first clients, the challenges that you came across in terms of market fit, like, because education, people are, as I told you, like my dad started on television, and for me it's a no-brainer. Like a retailer like him, 125,000 followers on Instagram, it's a no-brainer. It's content, sales, but maybe it's a generational thing. And so tell me a little bit about that.
We haven't done things on a very orthodox way, in a sense that I had a very clear vision, and I catch the product interest immediately. So for me, there were no need to do product market fit. We are doing now platform market fit, but in terms of product usage, it's here on the table. So we knew exactly what we were doing. We knew exactly which profile of customer we would serve. The only thing that we haven't figured out at the beginning is that we would be only Shopify driven, which we are now, but we haven't really catch the importance of Shopify at the time. And so we started to develop connectors for different environments on the e-commerce, like Magento, PrestaShop, and so on. And so we started like that. We built the platform. We built a simple platform, live streaming with overlays that you can click. And then one of my friends opened to me his website and infrastructure, and we test that 6 months after incorporating the company as a proof of concept. A real POC, and then it started well. The platform was already robust, but it was a very raw platform. There was nothing. My dev were behind and coding everything in real time to make it happen. But c'est la vie, and you can make that. And with this POC, I went to see my first investor, telling them I have a vision, I have a team, and I have a very early stage product. Give me money, and that's how it starts. So then we spent another 6 months. We did not care about any customers. We just spent time on the product, and we had some time, one test, one trial, one test. But we were not chasing customer because we knew that product-wise, we were not robust enough. Then we started to, in spring 22, to focus on Shopify. And then we went out to reach Shopify customers, giving them the product, putting the product in their hand, and letting them enjoy their first live stream shopping. So we
Why
Shopify?
Yeah.
Because, it's just a very logical suite, Carlos. When I left Auchan, I was working with Alibaba, big platform, Auchan, big retailers, and I understood that there was a huge potential for small and medium merchants, small and medium businesses. And then, in a year, in the year of time when we were developing the platform, we understood that Shopify was the engine behind all those D2C brands, which were popping up everywhere in the world, and we were seeing every month the speed of adoption of the Shopify platform by merchants. It was like every month plus 100,000 merchants, plus. And then we look at the numbers and say, okay, where is our future? It's obvious that it's on Shopify, because most Shopify are very modern brand, fashion brand, built by entrepreneurs, which are very much Instagram driven entrepreneur, social network entrepreneur. And live shopping is something that is community based, social based. And so once again, we were aligning the ICP, the ideal customer profile, with the right platform, with our product. And so Shopify was something that was natural. Actually, we did not think that long. So then when we decided to pivot or focus only on Shopify, we gave up all the rest, and we put 100% of the energy and the R&D on the Shopify integration.
Fantastic. I still want to explore a bit more of that. I think it's very interesting, the insight you guys had. We have here a few members of ours, and I always bring them on if they are available and on their desktop. Unfortunately, I discovered last week, if you're on your phone, you cannot join, so you can just ask questions. But Christoph Stola, he's actually he has an agency implementing Shopify. Very nice guy from Poland. Jamie Smith. Jamie, he's always present. He's a former IBM, also very connected in the UK. So a lot of digital commerce people. Dominique, former Elastic Path, he's based in Canada. Mark, your CMO, he's here. We have my wife also. She's not in e-commerce, but she enjoys watching me sometimes, I guess, I hope, and our guests. And Gustavo, who's leading partnerships. So everyone pretty much in e-commerce. And I would love, guys and lady, if you're interested, just to, I'll just to raise your hands, and I'll invite you on stage as well, because I think the discussions always get way more interesting. Right. So you've been on Shopify on their ecosystem, but how I found you on LinkedIn, and I think I've been following you now, Guillaume, for three years at least. And I think Mariana Satanas, she's in the US. I think the first time I saw some of your posts was because of Mariana reacting to your posts.
Yeah, during the NRF
that's right.
in January, because I had a chance to meet with Mariana during an event hosted by the French Chamber of Commerce, and then she was speaking at the time, and I went to see her and say hello, introduce my name, and so on. So then the next day, I wrote a post on LinkedIn and mentioning Mariana. She liked my post, and then you went to see me, my name probably.
That's correct. That's the power of community. So Mariana is also a member here. But then the Shopify ecosystem, you mentioned last time we spoke about Klaviyo. You've been closer to the whole ecosystem. So when you start in an ecosystem, and that's the realization of the e-commerce, the Evolve Commerce Club here. It's everyone is senior here. I've been doing international expansion for a long time, So this is power. Your network is power, and you start, as you said, you have the first circle and the second circle and people who are connected, right? So you are in the Shopify ecosystem, building relationships there, and now Klaviyo, who's probably a very strong partner of theirs as well. How are you doing about these collaborations to drive awareness, drive business?
Yeah, this is something that I haven't seen at the beginning of Live Meetup. When we build the integration on Shopify, and by the way, Carlos, there is a question in the chat on that Shopify, integration, and I will answer just a bit later. But when we built our first integration on Shopify, I was viewing Shopify as a standalone product, and I had not understood that merchants, are building a tech stack around their e-commerce platform, using a marketing automation platform, a loyalty platform, a customer support platform, probably data platform, logistic and delivery platform, and the likes. And so my clients, told me, Guillaume, you're doing something very great, but does your platform talk to Klaviyo so that what's happening on your platform as events is sent to Klaviyo, and then I can leverage the power of Klaviyo with all the data points coming from live stream shopping. Bingo. Okay. Okay. I know something. I know the power and the power of data. And so we are a platform which actually gets a lot of data, because we are a platform which is a customer journey. They come to our platform, even though we are white label, they come to our platform, they click on our platform, they add to cart and proceed to checkout on our platform. So I know everything. And so I talk to Klaviyo and I say, guys, we need to make integration because I need to send you back that data. And so the story is that now Guillaume Pau reach out to us and say, hey, can we grab a share of the data? And then Gorgias went to us and say, can we share the data? It would be super smart for us to know what's happening live, so we can tailor our chatbot to answer questions specifically to the live shoppers. Okay, man. Okay, let's talk. And it's coming like that, And here, Carlos, honestly, you start to understand that you're not alone, and that the product you build has a intrinsic, as a value by itself, as a product, as a platform, but has an incremental value, which is probably 2x or 4x, due to the fact that you can share back the data to other platforms, and so you become part of a stack. And when you become part of a stack, and I mean, all the followers of this webinar today and the viewer tomorrow, they will understand my meaning. When you're part of a stack, you are way more powerful and stronger. And also you build it's an anti-churn machine, and platform are always, looking at de-risking their churn and decreasing their churn. And when you are part of a stack and you share back the data where it counts, then the people, they will not delete you because they need you, by the way. And so we understood that last year. And so now we're putting a lot of effort to build connectors and integration with those people. Now we're working with Tapcart, which is a mobile app builder. And because once again, our client told me, Guillaume, we are having a mobile app with our brand and conversion better, loyalty better, notification better. Can you bring your live and your video on that mobile app? For sure, we'll do that. Now we're working that. So, the roadmap of the coming years and coming months and years for Live Me Up is mostly now driven by partnering and integration with those big names on the place.
Fantastic. I think Gustavo asked a question about other. Jamie, he's raised his hand, and I'll invite him on stage. But Gustavo asked a question about other integrations. If you plan to.
So two answers for Gustavo. Do we want to expand to other platforms? Replicating what we are doing today on Shopify is unique. It does not exist on any other platform. So it's going to be difficult, because the Magento ecosystem is not working like that. The PrestaShop neither, the BigCommerce neither, the Salesforce neither. And so we are strong because we are part of an ecosystem today. So difficult. But the question is, can you use Live Me Up outside Shopify? Yes, because we also had a lot of requests for custom-built, e-commerce infrastructure. And so we've developed APIs, which helps, people which are willing to build on our platform to use our platform. And that's working very, very well. But we are not actively pushing that API's connector. We are actively pushing Shopify, and we answer to any questions about API, for sure.
Fantastic, thank you. I'll invite Dominic. Dominic, just a moment. Dominic, you'll be here in a second, dude. Dominic, yes, invite. Waiting response. We did the live with Dominic last week about professional services. It was very interesting as well. So it was a really cool session.
I love the way you manage this webinar. It's very interactive.
It's super interactive.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very cool. Hyper cool.
And we're gonna do something new for the next upcoming webinars where we want to do some like networking sessions, but we'll speak about this later. Dominic, welcome.
Bonjour Guillaume. Bonjour. Comment ça va?
Très bien, super. Very happy to welcome you on stage, Dominic.
I figured I start off my conversation in French, even though it's French Québécois, not Parisian French, but still.
Okay.
Very interesting. I actually have a couple of questions because, talking API, talking Shopify, obviously coming from Elastic Path as well, right, with the connectors and all that, is something that is a little interesting to me, but we can take that offline. I actually had one more global question, because Live Me Up obviously is in a global platform and a global stage, right? And with global comes challenges. I'm going to say challenges per region. What are some of the challenges that you faced in terms of setting up a global platform on Shopify by regionality? I mean, not, I know you don't have to go into details, but I know that, when I've worked with global clients, North American requirements versus EMEA requirements versus French have changed, right? And now it's because it's API and data is king and you're getting all of this data. What are some of the challenges that you faced?
And also because e-commerce is different and entrepreneurs are different. And the way an American entrepreneur develops his business and relies on tech, it's absolutely different from a guy in Germany or a guy in India. And so we have a chance, but it's also a challenge, is that we are on the marketplace of Shopify. And so we are downloaded every day by people from all around the world. This morning, I was chatting with a lady from India for her jewelry, Shopify. And she had a lot of questions on how to use that and that and that. The thing is that a year ago, we were absolutely lost, Dominic, in how we should answer in terms of product roadmap the different usage of our platform from Australia to California. And so we were lost because we were not able to decide, should we answer that request feature to that country or that to that country. So we've decided to be US driven, very simple. And so after our first focus 2 years ago on Shopify, then we did last year a focus on the US market and only the US market. And we decided to build everything in English and only in English. That's why I only post in English on LinkedIn. And my French follower, they always say, why you're posting in French? In English is stupid, we can't read you. And the pain for me is that my reach today on an English post is half my reach on a French post. I don't care, I see the long term. And so, Dominic, we decided to build on US customer expectations for the US market. And so the roadmap today is driven by that. Saying that today we do 2 jobs at LiveMeUp. We only do, tech and support. We don't do sales. Sales is Shopify marketplace for us. And we do support. So very quickly, I needed to have a 24-hour support, which is difficult and very costly. But we try to run that from people in Europe and people in Canada, and we're covering almost 24 hours a day. But still, saying that, we have some very abnormal situation. And I will give you one example, and if you can help me to fix it, I'll be super happy. Germany. Germany is the 3rd country for Shopify in Europe after the UK and France, and probably ahead of France in terms of number of Shopify stores. When I look at my traffic on my website and my Shopify app page, my 3rd country in traffic is Germany. I have 0 clients, zero clients. And I have a lot of download of my app from German shop, but I never managed to convert anyone as a client, as a regular user. And I don't know why. I spent countless hours to try to reach out to them, try to understand what was happening and so on. No answers, no feedback. I'm in the fog. I don't know why. And I feel it's a pity because I can't crack this market today.
Let's connect offline, Guillaume, because I have a couple of potential reasons why. I've dealt with the German market for the past, I think, 10, 15 years. And like other markets, it's a great market, but there's single contributing factors to why you can't convert, I think anyways. So we can connect offline.
Yeah, I'm bringing Christophe on to our stage as well. Very nice guy. Dominic, you're welcome to stay on because it's a good opportunity to connect with Christophe.
Christophe has a question. There's a question from Christophe about
he's
build for Shopify app and expansion of the shoppable video. Yeah, we can talk. I will tell you what's happening.
Let me just see. But yeah, I think as I see in Denmark, they're more international way more than the Germans, let's put it this way. But localization is very important, and if they feel that Dominic has probably very good insights on it, but from what I saw in Germany, it's important to have a German counterpart, right? A German person that they can mirror. I think it's very important. Hey, Christophe, long time, man. How are you?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hello, Christophe.
Hey, nice to meet you, Guillaume. Nice to meet you, Dominic. We actually know each other with Carlos a little bit. As Carlos mentioned, I'm an owner here of e-commerce agency, and we are working mostly with Shopify customers here in Poland. And I had 2 questions, so I just wrote it down the chat here. But Carlos invited me to also, ask the questions maybe. So the second question, I think that you mentioned a little bit about it during the last few minutes about how the conversion rate here is in Germany or in France or European-based countries. In the case of shoppable video, and from my experience, as I am in mostly at the Polish market, Here, shoppable video is not so popular. I mean, like, I don't know why. It's getting a little bit of popularity. As I see live, the popular mainstream, I would say, mainstream popular fashion brands, especially, they are trying to sell shoppable, and they are trying to do some TikTok live, some discounts based on TikTok selling or something like that. So maybe the trend is a little bit later in entering the market, but based on the previous experience, it's nothing that could raise at a high level or be so popular. So maybe this is why also in Germany there's a hard to enter the market or to grow there, because they are quite similar, I would say, or maybe even I would say in the terms of digital expansion or e-commerce buying. They are a little bit I would say orthodox there than we are here even in Poland. So that was my second question, but the first question was about the process of building a Shopify app, and the moment you decided to go to it for an investment round, because our main business is the Shopify agency, but our, I would say, side project is building Shopify app, and we are actually now in the process of building an app. We believe that is necessary on the market, and when is, on your opinion, when is the moment you would advise me to go to investors, to go to, I know, finding some VC capital or business angel to support the app? I mean, like, now the process, we are in the process of design and development. I have a second co-founder, and he's the guy who actually built an app for Shopify marketplace previously, scaled it up, and sold it to app marketplace aggregator. So he had an experience to build, grow, and sold an app. So this is our I would say kind of unique value and unique experience. But now we are in the process of building. So we will design and build it internally, because I have designers, I have developers here. But when's the moment? Because of course the marketing, we have to have it to enter, I don't know, the agencies, to enter the clients with the product. So when is the moment you would advise me to go to find some additional money to grow it faster and to scale it up?
I would challenge the question of finding money. Why do you need money? Why can't you bootstrap the company? I mean, today, if you have all the resources internally, you don't need to hire external tech and dev people.
No.
You don't have to bear that kind of cost. If you do well your job, you will have an organic growth on the Shopify App Store. I mean, you don't need any money. So I would reverse the question. How would you build up a community of users which you will use to advocate for your tech, and which community will make ripple effect on socials on behalf of you to drive the adoption of your product? So actually, I would reverse the question. I would say, I don't need any money. I will be way more smart than raising capital for that, because raising capital takes years, takes a lot of nightmares and a lot of troubles, and it's boring, and it's not about serving your clients with a product. It's about serving an investor. It's good, sometimes you need it, but if you don't really need it, don't go to see those guys and crack the business on a very much bootstrap strategy. I can put you in touch with some people which are very, very talkative in this industry on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Awesome. And you will discover a world of entrepreneurs which are leveraging Shopify for the best and with no money. I can tell you.
I would love to connect with them, because you mentioned also what was extremely interesting for me, and what was also important. You mentioned that you are now focused on, especially on the support, not on the field of marketing, because as you mentioned, marketing is doing by themselves, like the community, but the support, to have the good customer success, the good customer support, the technicians that they are always working on the app, and they are on top, they are in bringing new functionalities, as you mentioned, all of those integrations. Maybe in my field, because we had an infrastructure, we thought about it, how to connect it, because I have also my second company is also the business where we are working as a service with connections between apps. So we are building connections based on API with another apps. So I also have this experience on my side, but in this field, maybe it will not be important to connect to other apps, but basically it will be important to support customers, to land them, to, I would say, give them some landing about the product, how it works, how they can use it. The importance here will be the group of people that working in agents on the agency side. So our I would say strategy to sell it is also with partnering with agencies, that they will be all able to offer it to the customers, because this is an app that will working, I would say, on the back end of the business. It won't be the front end. I would say it won't be for the customer, but basically it will be much more for the e-commerce manager and the agency to support them, not the customer. So I thought about the money to hire a good team on the client side to support them, to land the customer, to give them, I don't know, the presentation of the product. That was my idea. That's why I don't have an internal team to do it, especially that it will be necessary to hire someone directly from US or UK, because there are Shopify stores, most of them, and I have to have the native speakers. So that's the problem. That is why I asked the question.
Building a support team to support partners and people who will be a reseller of your product, it's not the same as building support for your end user. I believe that especially when you build the tech and when you want to succeed on this market, you need to touch base with the end user, because the end user will give you direct feedback, happy or not happy, and you will build on that. And going through partners and agencies to resell your product, it can be a way to penetrate some market, but don't lose sight that you need to talk to your end user. And you will learn if your product has a value, and the value that you expect, only by talking to end user. And if you have a kind of Chinese wall, make the joke, in between your user and yourself, which are agencies or partners like that, there will be bias in the way you will receive feedback from the market. And so I would half, or I would make sure that I keep on hand a bunch of end user to make sure that the tech you ship actually is relevant for the end user. That is one thing. Then you talk about the support and native language and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason why I cannot penetrate the German market, because we are not a German speaking company. But I mean, sometimes I'm very surprised, because I work a lot with Indian people. They speak English, and they have a very very good reach and success all over the world, and they speak their own English, always very funny. But I mean, they are doing great. So sometimes I suspect that when your product is really good, the product sells itself, and the support actually is just a back end support. But you are not in a sales machine. You are not building a sales team and so on. So support is just a support, and people, they will always agree that you speak English and not their native language, because it's a support. You are not selling. You are helping them. And so if you can convey the help in English, they will be happy with that.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
That's brilliant. That's actually the power of Evolve. Like what we do here, we do mentoring, reverse mentoring. I believe mentoring is all about, it's a two-way street. So that's fantastic. As to the community part, and if we can talk about that, Guillaume, I think maybe because there's always like people who are more closed and people who are more open and perhaps international. On the Shopify ecosystem in Germany, finding like start investigating like on the field the Germans and companies that are like Klaviyo, for example, that you started discovering in that ecosystem, that you could start having conversations. I think it could be interesting, but just specifically for the German market, I don't know, just some ideas in terms of building like a German community for you, within Shopify. I think that would be very powerful, having like a German person, that they could mirror and that has already influence in that market. I think I would go, yeah.
I mean, one of the things that Christophe was asking in terms of Guillaume when you were answering, and one of the questions in the German market is, one of the easier ways to do this, right, is you want to have customer access. You need to have that customer retention, right? And that's and it's different from your partners. Excuse me. In the German market, the first way to go about this is really attach yourself to German partners. Get 1 or 2 Shopify German partners that are willing to, sing the praises of Live Me Up, right? Obviously, there needs to be pivots and pilot phases with these German partners, but they have to sing the praises. And once you get that going, and you have 1 or 2 German partners that are singing the praises of Live Me Up and working with Shopify, at that point there, you can start looking at getting a customer success representative in Germany that have that instantaneous access to the accounts, right? Because now you're closing the loop. Once you get that going, you've now covered off that market, that access. Because everything you were saying, Guillaume, and with Christophe's question in terms of having a partner enablement and a partner engagement is important, right? And I know because that's my field, but having that instantaneous customer access and that customer, what the customer likes, what the customer dislikes, this is what sells your software. This is what sells your application, because this is what you're going to be. Customer retention is number 1, right? Scalability, expandability, and selling. So if you go in it with that community effect and set up partner network setup, and then you set up a customer success person within Germany, now you're building up that network. And once you build up all you need is 1 or 2 to get in. Once you get 1 or 2 in, you start hopefully seeing the conversion ratio increasing.
Sure. Yeah,
Amazing.
very wise, yeah.
All right. So I think, yeah, we're approaching almost an hour, 51 minutes. Guillaume, just maybe I want to ask you about the investors that you have backing you up today, the role that they play in your business, because again, money is good, but it's not, actually money is just a part of it. It's about having, investors who can accelerate you. And so I would love if you could just tell us a little bit about that. What's the role that your investors play in Light Me Up today, and how they support you?
Yeah, in a way that is very, very, how to say, key for us is that they build with me the future. And so, the money-wise. So that means that they came in the company on a seed round, knowing very well that we would need a late seed or probably an A round next year or next year. And so, because those investors, they are very seasoned investors, we every time we do an advisory board every 3 months, we reviewed the finance of the company, and we iterate on the way we will build the next round, and at which moment we will start to build the next round. So, the representative of the SPV, because they invested through an SPV, which is US based and invested in the French company here. The representative of the SPV plays a role of being my financial advisory today, that will lead me to the next stage and next stage. So they did not came in the company to as a as a fund. They came to us because we knew them, and some of them, they came to us as investor partner, and we're building together the roadmap of Live Me Up. So they have very clear expectation in terms of growth and speed of acquisition. Then now we are starting looking at the conversion rate, retention rate, churn rate, upsell as well. And so based on that, we all of us gaining confidence on the way we build the business model. And so they are thinking about how to finance next step. So sometimes you have investors which are opening doors to you for business. Sometimes you have investors which are securing you money-wide. We are in that frame. And so myself, I developed the business in the US. I rely partly on them, but mostly I rely on them for the finance future of the company. And as an entrepreneur today with a very high amount at stakes, and with a very huge effort of R&D for the platform, I am resource consuming today. Okay, so I need to have the confidence of investors, which will accompany me next year. Otherwise, within 6 months, I will be in a very traumatic situation, needing cash for the next for 26, 25, and 25 or 26, and then desperately looking for cash. I have the chance to have an investor next to me, which will be with me at the next round.
No, it's amazing because like you probably have a cost of acquisition today in our initiatives. It costs to acquire the customer, but if right, like to join events and to build community, as we were saying. But if you have an investor that has this long-term vision that you're saying and believe in what you guys are doing, I think it's amazing. So what's the size of the market that you look at today, the total addressable market? I mean, Shopify is pretty massive what they're doing, right? So.
But Shopify is a trap because you believe that your TAM is 4 million account, but then after 2 years you understand who is really making money out of your tech, and so this is another way to see your TAM, because when you look at that as a first timer, you see, oh, the market is incredible, and I will reach out to all those accounts doing beauty and cosmetics. There are like 1 million in the world, so my TAM is 1 million. No, absolutely not true. Actually, who's my tech really helping people to make more money and to grow faster? That's the only question today. And so we thought at the beginning that our ICP was that, but then we refine. And now we know exactly, one of our ICP today depend according to the market situation and the country. So we identified one very clear ICP in the US. And so we have 200,000 accounts to target based on that ICP. Okay, but that was not expected at the beginning, So from 4 million, how you narrow down to 200,000? That's a good question. And so now we need to build on those 200,000, reach out to them. That's an incredible marketing, difficulty, because those people, they are everywhere, in different US states. Sometimes in Midwest, sometimes in small cities, small countries. They are, mid-sized businesses. So, reaching out to them, understanding where do they hang out, understanding how do they will see your tech and your name. That's a new marketing strategy for us, the one of this year. And so that's why I'm traveling to the US every month, and I'm going to the US next week again and again to push that and to understand that.
Do you know Ron Thurston? He's in our community as well. So
Okay,
Ron is because Ron is this guy who built. There's another one that I will have to introduce you to, Edilsa. So Ron, he was the guy who built Bonobos and Gap, always as head of retail expansion. He became an influencer. So last year he traveled around the US visiting small and medium-sized businesses to talk about retail in America. He has a book called I'm a bit tired because of the trip. I will find out.
Okay, please.
I think it's Retail in America. I'll make an introduction. Amazing, because I think there are things you guys could do together. He's the founder of a company called Aussie Today. And Edilsa used to run campaigns for Gap as well. She's in our community, and she led the whole corporate strategy for Amazon. So very well connected. Perhaps as an idea like this, local influencers in the US, like, big names, they could be a way for you to accelerate those initiatives.
Absolutely, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. Last question, and then you're off my hook, Guillaume. It's a question from Gustavo here. He said that you're not responsible for sales. So how do you manage sales and the competition within the Shopify app store?
We learn a lot, and I spend hours on the Shopify App Store. Shopify App Store works like a marketplace. There is a internal SEO based on your. There's an algorithm which will put you at the first position or not, and you have to discover what builds this algorithm. And so I spent 1.5 years learning on it and iterating on this algorithm. So now we are number one. So basically, your success is made of the wording that you use in your description and so on and so on. The speed of downloading from the App Store. So if you download every day, the algorithm will push you, and the customer reviews. And so the more you are 5 stars, the better is your ranking. So then it becomes the equation. I mean, so my wording and my positioning need to be very clear, and I need to speak pretty simple English and have the keywords, identify the keywords, and put those keywords in my words. First thing. Second thing, I need to have marketing efforts to make the download, running. So we're doing that. And but on top of that, we need to have good customer review. And so on Shopify, it's very hard, because if one people is unhappy, it will give you a 1-star review. It kills your ranking, and you're dead for 6 months, and you have to paddle to come back on the first place. And so controlling your support, I came back to what we discussed with Christophe before. Support is absolutely elemental on the Shopify App Store, and you can't deceive anyone. And I'm always surprised to see how many of my competitors, they have 1-star review because they just don't reply an email. Can you believe that? And so people that don't answer a chat, they don't answer an email, they got a 1-star review, and they don't move. We can't do that, I was born on a culture of service and Auchan, and I bring that from my previous professional life into my current life. And so for me, serving a customer in 5 minutes, what are doing any Chinese entrepreneur? Chinese entrepreneur, in 5 minutes, they give you an answer. And so I do that today on Shopify, and it's really instrumental in our situation today.
Fantastic. Guillaume, any final remarks? Thanks, man. This has been amazing. I really admire what you're doing there. So thank you very much. Any final remarks? Any word of advice for entrepreneurs, and how people can find you as well and test, potentially live me up if they're interested? What's the best way?
Thank you very much, Carlos, for inviting me. That was really a very good chance to be part. It's a chance to be part of this club today, and a very Chinese way. You send a lot to me, so now you can expect to send back a lot to you. So ask me what you need, and I'll be here. That's the strength of a community. So thank you very much, and thank you for the interaction. I love to talk with you guys, Dominique, Christophe, and Gustavo. That was super nice.
Fantastic. I will connect you with Ron. I'll connect you with Adilsa, and maybe send some ideas your way in terms of finding influencers in the Shopify space. I think that could be powerful for you. Just to guess, in the US. All right.
I would love to. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you so much.
Ciao.
Merci beaucoup. À bientôt. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.
Ciao.